Welcome back to another episode of Research Writing with Virtue Impact. Today we'll be diving into a critical topic in writing our research work we cannot do without, which is the problem statement. Today we'll be talking about what a problem statement is. A good problem statement. What are they? The type of problem statements. Structure of a strong problem statement. How do you structure a strong problem statement? Then we quickly look at some examples, one or two examples before we call it a day. Now, what is problem statement? A problem statement is a clear, concise description of a specific issue your research aims to tackle. Problem statements. When choosing a topic, you have to consider what are the issues surrounding that topic that you want to choose before you can decide to take it as an academic research work. Is the topic researchable? Now, you have to be able to state the problem surrounding that research work. Your problem statement is a clear and a short description, concise description of the specific issue your research work aims to tackle. It also highlights what the problem is, what are the problems surrounding it, then who it affects and why it matters, and often what the consequences are if it remains unresolved. Now, in a short note, your problem statement must answer these 4 questions. What is the problem? Who does the problem affect? Why does the problems matters most? Maybe in the society, in the community. And also, what is the consequence of that problem if it's not attended to? That is a very big question. That a good problem statement must be specific. It must be specific. When we talk about being specific, no wishy-washy vibes. No wishy-washy vibes. Narrow it down. For example, terrorism is too broad. When using word terrorism is too broad. The psychological impact of terrorism on displaced teens in Borno State is tighter. Then a good problem statement, another point is that it must be evidence-based. It's gotta be backed by facts. It must be backed by facts. Your statement must be backed by statistics, stats, and real-world data. You are not just coming up with a problem without having a real-world problem. You not just generate a data online or just generate a data by proxy. No, that is not a good research work. So it must be backed up with facts, statistics, and real-world data. Your problem statements must not be surrounded with feelings, no, but it must be backed up with facts, with statistics, and real-world problem. Also, a good problem statement must be real-life relevant. It must be relevant in real life. These aren't just about what's missing in books. It's about something people are actually struggling with out there. So what people are struggling out there. Also, we talk about the structure of a strong problem statement. the structure. How do you structure your strong problem statement? It's number one, the context. What is the context of your problem statement? In structuring your problem statement, you have to set the scene. What about setting the scene? What is this happening? Who is involved? Who is involved? What is happening around? You set the scene for it. Then number two, the problem itself. What exactly is wrong? You have to identify the problem. What exactly is wrong? Number two, the evidence, the stats, the studies that prove the problem is real. The consequence of what happens if the issues is ignored. But there are some problems that there's always a consequence, for ignoring a particular problem, whether in the academic world or the medical world or any world you can think about. So when you ignore a particular problem, there is always a consequence for it. So you have to identify the consequence too. Then lastly, in the structure, the gap. Why does it need to be studied or solved? The gap in every academic research, there must be a gap. Is a gap that is the gap involved that explain why you must carry out that research work. So without having that gap, you may not be able to give the real answer to the problem. So identify the gap also in your research work, and that makes up your research problem. Now quickly, I want to look into just example of a typical research problem. Now listen carefully. Despite the high prevalence of preventable dental diseases in rural communities of Ogun State, access to oral health education and services remains low, with only 20% of residents visiting a dental clinic in the past year. Nigeria Dental Health Survey 2022. This neglect leads to increase in cases of tooth decay. This neglect leads to increase in case of tooth decay, infections, and economic burden due to untreated conditions. Now, a study is needed to explore barriers to oral health access in this undeserved population. Let's look at other